Hey, everybody, this is Jim from Alabama. Woo! It's a great day to be alive. Hey, we're going to go over some exciting stuff today. I'm finally able to do the start of the Noah's flood video. I'm actually going to have to break it up into two or maybe three parts, actually, because I remember I said it was going to be a long one. And hey, I want to thank everybody for all their donations. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is wonderful. That was wonderful. So if you hadn't subscribed to my channel, please do that. Guys, I gotta tell you, y'all, some of you probably remember this right here. That was a decode that I did from one of oh goodness gracious, one of John McAfee's pictures that he had on his Dead Man channel. Well, gonna erase all this. Yeah, can't do any more of John McAfee's decodes because I got a message a couple of days ago about that. So I hope that I didn't, mess any kind of operational thing up or anything that I wasn't supposed to say or anything like that. But I always wait, a good period of time, before I do that. But and it was about a month or a little over a month, but I guess that probably wasn't long enough. So I'm sorry about that. So no more McAfee decodes. Well, he's got a lot of stuff in there though. But and I'm not going to show you the message I was sent, but believe me, it was directed to me. Now, Jim, how do you know it was directed to you? Well, it had encoded in it Jim from Alabama. That's how I know. Only thing I'm going to show you is this. This is one of the things it said. Shh. So you better believe from now on, good old Jim from Alabama is going to shh on those. Okay. No need to worry about that. Okay. Anyway, again, thank you for all the donations, everything. I am going to for all of y'all out there that do crypto and everything, I'm going to start a little crypto pick channel. So maybe we'll hit pretty good on some of those. If you want to join that, everything. But I'll let you know about that. But anyway, let's get into Noah's flood. Okay, let's talk about how it was before the flood. Now I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but I think it was just absolutely amazing. I think that we just really cannot imagine how wonderful the earth was before the flood. Because now you got to remember, okay, the Lord had created the earth, created the garden, created Adam and Eve. Everything was all good, perfect. Everything was perfect. Because he wanted to take care of us. We are his people. We are his creation. He wanted to take care of us. So of course, he was going to, have the best, best and most comfortable place for us. And remember I said there was no mountains, the terra firma probably looked like, maybe somewhere out in Kansas or, someplace like that. I mean, it was pretty much flat, maybe a little rolling, maybe a little hump here, a little hill here. But you know, for the most part, it was just flat. Definitely no mountains. Now there were some seas and lakes, but everything was just totally comfortable. Food abundant. I bet you even the ground was warm. You know how sometimes you step out in the morning or something, even in the springtime, you know, if you're barefooted and the ground's all cold and everything. I bet you the ground was like really nice and warm and stuff. There was no clouds because the atmosphere was totally different than what we know today. Because remember I said there was this canopy. So say the earth is here, earth is here. Uh there was this canopy around the earth. Okay. And what did that canopy do? Now I'm actually doing a whole video just on this canopy. You know, how it was created, what it did and everything. But that canopy is key to understanding how Noah and, you know, everybody way back then lived so long. Okay. Because they were protected. They were protected from, you know, UV rays. They had, you know, increased oxygen, you know, pressure, you know, all this stuff. But like I say, I'm doing a whole video on that. But the canopy does come in play in this video. Because we're going to be talking about the flood, the actual flood, and what happened. So what I believe happened for the flood was that when the planet P7X, planet 7X, planet X, when it came around, okay, say it came around like this, okay. Now there wasn't any, I don't think there was any kind of tilt or anything like that with it. It just kind of came around, and that's P7X right there. Okay. Now, after it came around, I believe that there may have been some trailing debris back around here that was fairly close behind it. Remember, this thing has a huge trail of debris. Okay. I mean, probably even going around all the way back around the sun. There's the sun right there. Okay. Probably even going back all the way over there. Well, you can't see that on the hickey-doo, but yeah, it's got a huge debris trail. But I think what happened was after it passed, one of these broke through this canopy. Okay. Now, I believe that the canopy had a small, thin layer of ice. This would be the ice here. All right, let's just put ice here. And I also believe that there was a layer of water on top of that. Well, my blue's not working. We'll just have to go with red water. Okay. So there was water, liquid water. Okay. This is liquid water. Liquid H2O. Okay. On top of that ice. Okay. Now, with the earth being in this canopy and increased pressure, increased oxygen, you know, increased atmospheric pressure, you know, what would that do? What would that do if that was punctured right there? Well, basically the Earth and the little atmosphere in here would have been uh, pretty much a partial vacuum. Wouldn't you agree? And once this thing was punctured, it just sucked. It just sucked all of this water just all around the Earth. And remember, the Earth's spinning too. So it just came gushing, 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 gushing. Okay. Now I'm not sure if it hit here, or wherever. You know, some people might say, okay, well, if it hit here, if it hit here, Jim, well then the water would only empty up until, you know, maybe like right there. No, that it really wouldn't matter, because you got to remember the Earth's spinning and it's in like a partial vacuum, so it would have just sucked that water right down to it. Okay. One of the things I'm going to talk about in the canopy video is how the canopy was magnetically locked onto the Earth too. So whatever this was pretty dang big, you know, to break that and then break that magnetic lock. It's basically like a magnetic pressure lock, I guess you would call it. But so in Genesis 7, I believe it's 7:19, Noah says that the flood waters came up 15 fathoms. Okay. Now, how big is 15 fathoms? Well, 15 fathoms equals about 25 feet. Okay. Now you say 25 feet, that doesn't sound like a huge flood. And for the people that still think that there was mountains on the Earth, you know, 25 feet, that wouldn't, I mean, it might cause some flooding, but remember, this 25 feet of water killed everything. So that's another justification for, you know, the terra firma just being, you know, flat, rolling like that. And some people might say, well, Jim, I think that was 15 fathoms above the mountains. Can you imagine 15 fathoms of water all across the Earth? 15 fathoms above Mount Everest? I don't think so. I mean, that could possibly be. No, I don't think so. I mean, the Hebrew actually says it's like flat. So that's the way it was. So all this water's pouring in for 40 days. And there's a time. Okay. That's a time. We have a volume of water right here, 25 feet all around the Earth. Okay. This is our volume. It's our volume of water. And we have a time equals 40 days. Okay. Now, like I say, I'm a math dude. So, you know, I like doing math stuff. So maybe we could work this out backwards. And maybe we could get like a flow rate or something. Maybe we could even figure out how big this thing was, or at least how big the hole was that it created. I bet you we could probably do that. So let me erase all this stuff, and we'll get into some math. And don't let the math scare you or anything like that. You know, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, they're big numbers and everything, but it's pretty straightforward. So let me erase this right here, and we'll start doing some calculations. Okay, I'm back. Okay, now I've got some numbers up here, and like I say, don't be afraid. I mean, they're big numbers, but hey, big numbers, small numbers. I mean, you can follow along pretty easy. So these are the numbers I have up here, and this first one here is just the surface area of the Earth. Okay, and I just looked this up on, I think it was like it might have been that NASA.gov site or something like that. But you can do a search for it. Just search for Earth planet data or something. It'll come up with a bunch of numbers, and this is one of them. But anyway, the surface area of the Earth. Now, this is the Earth today. Okay, this is what they've calculated at today. I really don't know what it is pre-flood. There's no way really to know that. So I'm just working with the numbers that I have. And like I said, all of this is just to kind of give you an idea of the magnitude. We see movies about Noah's flood, and oh, it's raining, oh yeah, it might be coming down pretty hard and stuff. No, you wait until we do some calculations, okay? And you'll understand it wasn't just a rain. It was, well, you'll just see. You'll see. Okay, so we got the surface area of the Earth. Okay. And now we do know the depth. Okay. We do have a depth, and that is the depth of the flood. That's 25 feet. Okay. So that means that there was 25 feet of water around the Earth. Okay. 25 feet of water around the Earth. Okay. And, I'll say it again, no mountains or anything. So that's how 25 feet of water could, just destroy everything. We have a time, 40 days. 40 days. So we can calculate a volume. If we can calculate a volume of this water, the total volume of water that caused Noah's flood, that's pretty, that's pretty interesting just in itself. But with this 40 days, this time element involved, I think that we might actually be able to get some kind of flow rate. How much did it rain, or how much water poured out of the sky per day? So let's look at that. Okay, so volume here is equal to the surface area times the depth. Okay, now we have both of those. Our depth is 25 feet, but our surface area is in square kilometers. So we have to match units on this here. So our total volume, I'll just put Noah's flood total volume. Okay, that's going to equal to this number, 5.1 times 10 to the 8th square kilometers times this 25 feet in kilometers, which is 0.00762 kilometers. Okay. So that comes out to a whopping 3.88 times 10 to the 6th cubic kilometers. Whoa, that's a lot of water. Now remember, when anything is cubed, You know, volumes are cubic three-dimensional measurements, okay? So just remember, that's a kilometer tall, a kilometer wide, and then going back into the board, a kilometer deep. That is a lot of dang water, especially when you have 3.88 times 10 to the sixth of them. Woo! Okay. Here's an interesting fact over here. Look at this. Earth's total volume of water today. This is what they've calculated it as. This is all the lakes, all the seas, all the oceans, everything is only 1.386 times 10 to the sixth. All the water all across the earth today, they've calculated it as that. And then you look at Noah's total volume of water here. It's like, oh my gosh, it's almost 3 times. It's almost 3 times the amount of water that we have on Earth today. Wow. Wait. Okay, so we've got that. Now then, let's see if we can calculate a rate. Okay, remember, I'm just making this very, very simple. Okay, very simple. I know that the Earth is really like an elliptoid, and you have to do a lot of heavy duty math with that and everything. So I really don't want to go into that. But remember, this 3.88 times 10 to the 6, Noah's total flood volume, is the amount of water that was on the earth, surrounding the earth. Okay. Now then, I believe that this water that created this 25 feet dumped out of this canopy. Okay. Remember I said the canopy, I think, is got some ice, some thin ice, and then on top of that ice is liquid water. Because you got to realize water has some very, very unique properties. Very unique properties. It's very polar. That means that it can be magnetized. I'm going to get into that in the canopy video. But it also absorbs, a very good absorber of radiant energy, like gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, stuff like that. Very good at that. Very good insulator for that. And that would help explain the long lifespans, that Noah and all these people pre-flood had. So, but we'll get into that. But like I say, I'm just going to make it very, very simple, just so you can get a feel for the magnitude. Okay. So what we're going to do to kind of get our flow rate is we're just going to assume that this meteor that broke this canopy, we're only going to say one did it, and that it made a excuse me, made a big hole here. Now, it could have been, in reality, a couple of holes or whatever like that. But like I say, I'm just doing this just to give you a sense of the magnitude of this. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how much water per day went onto the earth. Okay, so we have 40 days. We have, this is the total amount of water that was dumped onto the earth. So all we're going to do is we're just going to divide this number by 40 days. okay? And that equals to 97,000 cubic kilometers of water per day. That is enormous. That is absolutely enormous. And I tell you, I'll show you how enormous that is. Okay. Everybody knows where Lake Superior is. Well, I mean, if you're in the States, you know where Lake Superior is, you know, up there in Michigan. And when you look at out at Lake Superior, you know, it looks like a sea, because I don't even think that you can see the other side of it. But so that's big. It's big. 97,000 cubic kilometers of water is equal to a little over 8 Lake Superiors. Wow. So that means during Noah's flood, over 8 Lake Superiors were dumped onto the earth. Now, if you're not in the States, you know, or I mean, maybe if you are, maybe if you know a lot about geography or whatever. Here's another one. Does anybody know where the Caspian Sea is? The Caspian Sea borders a little bit of Russia, I think the top part of Iran and everything, but it's a big sea. But it is this 97,000 kilometers is equal to 1.25 Caspian Seas. Woo! And that's every day for 40 days. Just imagine that. I mean, imagine the sound, the feelings, the horror, you know, especially if you weren't on the ark. Woo, that's a lot. Okay, well, now then, let's get back to this, okay? So let's assume that this meteor just made one big hole, okay? And all this water was dumping into it, okay? Now, like I say, this canopy was magnetically locked. It was like it was basically like a magnetic pressure lock on the earth, okay? Because there was increased pressure on the earth. So when this meteor popped this, it had to be a big meteor, I'm sure. It broke that pressure lock. And just like I said before, you know, it wouldn't matter where it hit, it would just suck that water in. So, so let's do this. I tell you what, I don't want to really do that. What I used the pipe equation. You know, water flowing through a pipe. Okay, I believe it's called the flow rate equation, and you can do a search for that. Now, one of the variables is the velocity of the water, and of course, I just put that as gravity in feet per second. So that's like 32.17 feet per second. So if you do look it up, if you do want to do your own calculation, use that as the velocity of the water, just the velocity of gravity. 32.17, I think it's 32.174 feet per second, something like that. But anyway, I calculated this, and this hole came out to be 7.5 miles in diameter, 7.5 miles wide. Now just think for a minute. Just think. You hear this big boom, this big crash, and then just this enormous, deafening roar of all of this water pouring out of the sky. Everybody's terrified. Nobody can hear anything. Nobody can probably hear each other talking even. Just imagine that for 40 days and nights, and you're not on the ark. Boy, I tell you what, when God is ticked off at you, he really lets you know it. Because here he is giving us basically a perfect world. Okay, all conditions for humans are perfect. All he wants to do is take care of us, have us, basically be fruitful, multiply, because God's all about life. He's all about life. That's what he loves. Life. Everywhere, life. So we have this perfect world set up for us, yet people are still sinning. People are still doing evil. And he doesn't want that. So yeah, he's going to let you know it. He sure is. And like I say, these numbers just represent, examples, because like this 25 feet here on the earth, the canopy would have been a wider diameter, so it probably would have been 25 feet out here. Of course it would have been less. I don't know if it was 10 feet, 12 feet, 15 feet, or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that there was some level of liquid water out there above the canopy. And like I say, we'll get into that in the canopy video. But yeah, just imagine. I mean, yeah, we serve an awesome God. But boy, I tell you what, when he's had enough, he has had enough. And he lets you know it. So, okay, I'm going to stop this one right here, because I just wanted to, just show this as an example, and just kind of let you know the magnitude of Noah's flood. Like I said, in the movies, you'll see it raining. No, this stuff was pouring out of the sky. Seas, small oceans worth of water every day for 40 days. And remember, the planet was turning the whole time, so they saw it. They saw it, heard it, felt it, everything. But yeah, let me stop this right here. Be sure and watch the second part of my Noah's flood video. There may be a third part too. And like I say, I'm gonna work on a canopy video just on this canopy, because there's some very, very fascinating things about this. And really, really, truly, when you see how God made this, it's just going to be like, wow, amazing. Anyway, thank y'all so much. God bless you. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.